Hey folks, what's up, Yeti? So, I was talking to Killer Cork, and Killer Cork had bought some fog knapp preform somewhere, probably from Craig or someone. Anyways, he didn't have any way to turn the edge, so he was asking me how I turn my edge, and I turned my edge on a Cab King cab machine. Is how I turn this edge. And by turning this edge, what I mean is that normally this edge would be beveled to one side, and that the low side is what I would take my flakes off of, and then I'd go over the grinder, grind it the other direction so it was sloping the other direction, take my flakes off the other side, and then just pick off the edge, and you're done. Well, got a couple things going against this. First off, this is snowflake obsidian, and a very, very small percentage of snowflake obsidian, maybe 2 or 3%, will actually knapp. Very, very little of it. I think this piece might. But we'll see. I'm going to try and fog knapp this without doing any edge turning. And right now, this edge is at 90. It's just flat is what it is. Just like you would when you're getting a regular preform. I've never fog knapped this way before, so I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I was actually kind of hesitant about even using this piece of snowflake obsidian because it's one of my only pieces I think might knapp. But what we're going to do is we're going to set this up on the edge. Not used to doing obsidian either, really. Got to make sure I don't get too carried away. All right, I'm just going to come to the other side. Yeah, so don't run out and buy snowflake obsidian because you're going to set yourself up for disappointment. Very, very little of it naps. There's a reason why you don't see snowflake obsidian for sale for napping material, and you see so very few points. In fact, I've only ever actually seen one, and I napped it. But that's not to say there's not more. I'm sure there is, but very little of it will nap. And the reason for that is this is ash that's in that. So what that did is hopefully you can see that there. That left all these little deltas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my pressure flaker up here, and I'm going to come across this other side. And that should leave us with a very relatively thin edge. So I do think I'm going to switch to this other narrower pad. As you can see, that's leaving a pretty thin edge that we ought to be able to just pick off there, I think. And there may be better ways to do this. I'm not really, I took a chunk out right there. Let's see our deltas again. That edge seems like it's turned a little bit the wrong direction. I'll come back to that. Now this may not show the flay scars off real well, but well, we got all the way across it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take one of my fine nails. And we're just going to without doing any grinding to knock these deltas down, we're just gonna go through and pick them off. Or try to. I'm sure with a little bit of practice you can get these edges looking real nice without having, so you could buy a fog preform as long as what I would do is if, and I'm going to have some fog preforms available soon in limited numbers. In the beginning they'll mostly all be obsidian. And they'll just be as I have time to, or myself or Jaden has time to grind them, so. The snowflake might not have been a good option for demonstrating this. That edge is super thin. I'm setting a tool on top of the edge. I probably could have scrunched this away too with the scrunching tool. So you have to spend a little bit more time dressing up your edge, obviously, but as long as your edge starts at a 90. If you order your preform and it's turned all to one side, well then I think you're in trouble, because then it has to be ground back the other direction, because you can't get a purchase on the edge. You wouldn't be having quite this much trouble with the edge with a different material, but it is a little more difficult when with this material. I bought this snowflake back when I first started, and not long after I first started anyways, and I bought a lot of slabs to get 2 or 3 pieces that actually worked. If I was in a rock shop and they had some slabs there, I could pretty much tell by the slabs whether or not it was going to nap, and then I would purchase more, but I would just not, I would not order more by photo, you know what I mean? So a little bit concerned about notching with the thing, so I think we're going to make it a Dalton. Because a Dalton is always a good choice. Doesn't really matter. It's just always a good choice. Next week, so I got a private nap in to go to next week. I'll be gone for 2 days. It's in the middle of the week. And I've never met, maybe, I think 5 people there, including me. And it's a small nap in. And I've never met, I've only met one of them, the host, so. Looking forward to meeting those guys. And I think most of them are going to be fog napping. I don't know. I won't be fog napping. I'll be percussion napping. I told you guys before I went fog napping crazy there for a while. Well, you guys know that if you've been following the channel. And I just I'm completely burnt out on it. So, whew, almost dropped that. If I dropped it and hit that, it would break for sure. But they're all, well, two of them. I don't know two of them at all. But two of the others are world-class fog nappers, so way better than me. And they're going to stay way better than me because I'm not going to do that much fog. Just reshaping a little bit here. Getting a little more just a little bit more of a Daltonish profile. So if I need to bring this whole side in. Those of you that's following along on my current dilemma with the bank and all that stuff, someone hacked my stuff and drained my account out. It actually started back on the 7th and I didn't realize it. And so far I think we got most of it straightened out except for about $2,000 that I don't know that I will get back. The bank actually told me that I had to contact all those places myself. I said, oh no. I said, you go get the bank president. And they got the bank president. And I said, if this isn't your job to straighten this kind of crap out, then I don't know why I even bank here. I've been banking there for 16 years. So I said, you either get this sorted out or I'm going to be looking for another bank. And if they can't recover the money, I mean, then, you know, that's one thing. But I don't feel like I should be making all these phone calls. And, I mean, apparently I bought plane tickets with JetBlue. And I actually haven't been on an airplane in 2 years. And I haven't actually bought, I think I've bought one plane ticket in that 2 years. And it wasn't for me in the last 2 years, and it wasn't on JetBlue. As a matter of fact, I've never bought a plane ticket on JetBlue, but, well, apparently I have now, but I didn't get to use the ticket. And I'm kind of wondering where they went. Maybe an offer to take me with them. But anyways, a lot of it's sorted out anyways, not all of it, but I had people reach out and offer to help and all kinds of stuff, because the knapping community is flipping awesome. It really is. And those of you that did reach out and offered help, I didn't take any of that help, but I appreciated it a lot. I was a little bit taken back, a little bit blown away, to be honest with you, but I always am with the knapping community, because it's a great community full of a bunch of great people. I mean, there is some yahoos, obviously, but for the most part, great bunch of folks. I wonder if I should bevel this. I'm thinking about it. Originally, I had not intended on this being a Dalton, but after I sat down here and started thinking about it, I thought, you know what? That snowflake might cause some issues in the notching. If I can find a picture of the snowflake point I did before, I'll flash it up. It was actually a few years ago, I think. I believe it was. This one might have to go live in my Dalton case for a little while. Seems how I may never do another snowflake Dalton again. When you're doing this, if you lay your tool on top of the workpiece, not on the edge, on top, it'll take them flakes off and it won't throw a bunch of hinges and things in there. Just that little bit of, that little thing right there, which my buddy Keith actually taught me that. Just one of those things, you put that up top like that, and it'll keep from having a bunch of, throwing a bunch of little hinges in there. And that's it. That's all she wrote, and it worked. So I would say what you need to do is, if you're going to order fog preforms, you can't see the flake scars on that, but it's got nice flake scars across. I should have picked something different, I guess. But and every day you see a snowflake up sitting in Dalton, do you? Nope. Negative. Most of the time, these just cause so many problems that they stop flakes and bust out and stuff. It's all kinds of trouble. And this one is as borderline as they get as far as being nappable. So, anyways, there's that little Dalton. So, kill the cork. As long as you're buying preforms, or if you ask them to just, you know, grind that flat on there instead of having an angle on it, I think you'll be just fine. You should be able to go through and then come back on your deltas, go the other direction, and then just pick those deltas off. And on a regular flint, it should be easier than what this was, because, you know, these ash pockets and things, but it still turned out pretty good. So yeah, answer the question is, can you fog nap without doing any grinding once you receive the fog preform? Yes, as long as your edge is 90, or, you know, it can't be at an angle. So, and then you can do it. So appreciate y'all watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Y'all keep napping.